Hello, my dear yogic friends and all other friends also who are joining us today with this in this fantastic interview with our guest, Dr. Kausthub Desikachar. Hello, Kausthub.
Namaste, Katja, and namaste all of you who are seeking your true Dharma.
Yes, welcome all the seekers of your true Dharma. We are today in this interview, a very, very special interview. What we are going to talk about with Kausthub today is a special individual karma of people who send us questions about their individual Dharma, their individual Dharma path. So, and Kausthub will answer on these questions as much as possible he can, but mostly I want to say that all these questions and also answers will be for all of us. Actually, they are the story of all of us and all the blockages that we have and all the questions about our Dharma. But before we start, we are going to greet first Michaela. Hello, Michaela. She is here with us again, so everything works. Yeah, so you hear us.
There's only Michaela, nobody else. Please, friends, let us know if you are there.
Please let us know. We can see that you are watching, yes, but let us know if you are there, from where are you, especially all those who had already sent the questions about your individual Dharma. So for all those who are the first time here with us, we already have many interviews with Dr. Kausthub Desikachar, and Dr. Kausthub Desikachar is a lineage holder of Vini Yoga tradition, which is for many hundreds years also Kausthub already going on. So it means that it has not just some techniques, but it has also very big wisdom that helps now all of us in modern times through the teachings that Kausthub Desikachar is teaching us, all the students and all the others. So Kausthub Desikachar, you are also doing a lot of free chants during these Corona times. You are doing every morning, you are chanting with a lot of people free online. You are doing a lot of interviews. You have also a lot of online courses. So why is your decision to help people in this quarantine times like this? You are actually giving a lot for free. You are supporting people like this. Why did you decide to support people like this?
You want the chanting first, or we do the answer of the question first?
Let's do the answer, and then this is like some sort of introduction for you.
Oh, good. Thank you. So, I feel that people all over the world at this moment, they need a connection. And what I feel is not so appropriate is the languaging that is used by mainstream media, which is the concept called social distancing, which actually makes us feel as if we are apart. But in this crisis, in any crisis, what we need is actually a connection, a place where we feel connected, a place where we feel safely connected. And that is what I tried to do with my offering of the daily chants, which we did till the end of April. And from Monday on, we will continue till the end of May, but 3 times a week. And it's a place where people connect at the same time, at the same moment from all over the world. And we all participate in a chanting, which is coming from our heart. So in some ways, it is a heart-to-heart connection. And the only reason I do it is because I feel it is in my dharma to do it, to offer support to people around the world as a teacher of yoga, as a therapist of yoga. because people need this support now, and more than ever. Yoga teacher is not somebody who is just available when things are going well. That's been the attitude of a lot of yoga organizations, unfortunately. But actually, a good yoga teacher, a good yoga therapist is somebody who has to be there when there is a need. And that is what I try to follow from my heart. That's what I felt, and that's why I did it.
Great. This is very, very good to hear also from your point of view. So now you can chant for us, a small chant at the beginning and then a small chant also at the end for us, so that we can connect as a group in this interview today.
Okay. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vedvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Great.
Namaste.
Thank you very much. Namaste. So I receive a lot of questions. We are going to try today with Kausthub to answer all of them. If someone will not get their answer, please don't be offended. We are doing our best, and we cannot do like 2 or 3 hours of interview. First, I would like to say again that the questions are, some of them will be anonymous, but they are actually referring to all the stories, our own stories. So all of you who didn't send the questions, you will see, you can find also your story in them, your blockages in your Dharma or some sort of obstacles, so you cannot find Dharma. And Kausthub will give us straight and honest answer, as he always does. So please listen very carefully. So we'll start first with Mihaela. And Mihaela, she's saying that nearly for 2 years, she started with her own small business. And she's very passionate about it. But somehow for her, it seems that she's struggling with continuous blockages, and she does not know what to do to get out of this negative spiral. So she somehow put herself in this negative spiral. And what could be her next step to turn it around? What is your suggestion if someone is passionate, doing something with passion, but it's actually very, very in the negative spiral?
It's an excellent question. And I feel that this is what happens when we follow our dharma. I would say that you should change the languaging around how you say. Rather than saying I started my business, you must think about it as if it is your dharma. Then your relationship with it changes. And dharma is not something, following a dharma is not something that is always going to be easy. It's not always going to be the sunshine kind of situation all the time. Dharma is going to test us again and again sometimes before it allows us to flow fluidly. The storm will always come, either from inside or the outside. And just because the storm comes, we must not become negative about it. We must not run away from it. We must not hide from it. But rather, we must try to find a way to weather the storm. And even if we are more creative, we have to ride the storm. We have to learn how to ride the storm. And that is when we know that we are standing in our dharma, that when things are not going well, we still feel that what we are doing is the right thing to do. The moment some negative thing comes, the moment some challenge comes and we want to go away from it, that is the moment we know for sure that we are not pursuing our dharma. So what I would encourage you is to learn how to weather the storm first, and then learn how to ride the storm so that you know that you are anchored in your dharma. And for that, you have to change your mindset and look at what you are doing as not just a job or a profession or a business, but more as that is what is your passion. It's not always going to be easy in any aspect of our life, particularly even in our dharma. When you look at crops and how they have to express their dharma, it's not guaranteed that the weather every year will be the same and it will be congenial for the crops to keep producing the same way. Some years there may be a drought, some years there may be a flood, some months of the year there may be the storm. The crops have to learn to weather it. And they do, because they are anchored in their dharma. That's where the concept of rooting is so important.
So actually, what I hear you is that there's, if we are on our dharma, there's not like magical fairy tale, now everything is smooth, like in fairy tales, yeah? And then the princess gets married with the prince. There are still storms.
Actually, the opposite. It'll only be more challenging, and that's really the test. Like when I look at the story of my grandfather, for example, some of my ancestors, it was not easy for them. We all talk about it now as if it's a glorious time or whatever. It's glorious because their teaching is shining now. It was not at all an easy life for my grandfather at any point in his life. It is not at all easy for me to fulfill my dharma. And I know that it is not easy for many of my students and friends around the world. People who want to be musicians, who want to be artists, especially in a time like this, are taught by family members, don't do that, that's not going to give you money, do that, that will give you more money, be an engineer, be a doctor, be an architect, it's safe. Despite all those kind of external obstacles, as well as internal obstacles like self-doubt, self-belief and all that, we still have to sustain dharma. Dharma is not something which is easy. It's not something which is easy. It is what is natural. And even when I take the metaphor of a seed manifesting into the plant, it first has to break the shell, which is painful. Only then the plant can manifest into its potential. And even when it's manifesting into its potential, its life is not easy, because maybe a goat comes and eats it, or maybe there is a rain, maybe there's a storm, maybe a car drives over it. There's so many possibilities, but it doesn't mean that we have to remain in the shell. That's even more painful. That is something that we must not do.
And what I find it actually that if we are connected with others who are also following their dharma or seeking the truth, their truth and truth dharma, that it's much easier when we are together in some sort of, let's say, community or friendship and so on, yeah? So that we understand on the same level. This is why I also, and this is my synchronicity, thank you very much, Kausthub. A few months ago, I opened a Facebook page. It's international, it's in English, and it's called Riders of the Gifted Storm, which is actually for all the people there, the true seekers of their Dharma, but also they are discovering their gifts, which is in the end the same. So warmly welcome all of you. We have that kind of community that we are riding on the storm together. It's very, very much more, how would I say, soothing, or much more easier to ride when we are together, I think.
I think there's also a very famous song called Riders of the Storm, right? It's by
Yes,
Doors.
it is. Yes, it is. Yes, yes.
Okay. I didn't use it for that purpose.
I know it was synchronicity. Kausthub, this is what I know. I don't think that you know that I have also this Facebook page. So warmly welcome to join us. It's open for everyone. So we have another question.
I would join, but I don't think I'm so gifted to join. Okay,
I will just not answer on this crazy question. Kausthub, we all know you are a very deep seeker of the truth. So you're warmly welcome. I will invite you personally. So let's go on the second question.
Hi. Before you go on, my dear daughter is here. She'll say hi.
Oh my gosh. Sharada, hello. Hi. How are you? Are you here for a dinner with your father?
She is.
Yes, great. Oh, she's so beautiful, Kausthub.
She is.
Very nice to see her. So the second question is that the lady is from Belgium, and she is still looking for her Dharma. And she thinks it's a very long quest because she's nearly 48. But she's actually questioning you about some synchronicities, about the book that came 4 times into her life. It was a book about medium, someone who is a channel. And she's asking if this synchronicity could be her Dharma also. So if that kind of things are some sort of little informations coming from the space to us.
Yeah. Surely it's a sign, but it need not be that somebody just has to be a medium just because a book of medium shows up like 4 times. Now, what medium is doing is basically helping people. Mm-hmm. So in that way, it could be that this person who is receiving this book is receiving a sign that her dharma is to help people with various illnesses, and that she is a medium for healing rather than just being one kind of medium, which is probably expressed in that book. Sometimes as a therapist, as a doctor, as a nurse, we are also mediums of healing, mediums of transformation. As a teacher, we are mediums of transformation. So we must not take it always literally that just because I got a book on being a medium, I should become a medium. Yeah. It's something that is worth reflecting on. It may be that that person is also meant to be a medium, but we always have to understand that nature and the divine, they speak through metaphors. They don't always speak literally. That's very important for us to remember. Yes. If we become literalists, then we are lost in this. We cannot read the map of the divine or of the nature if we are a literalist. We will fail. Yes. So I would recommend this person to consider looking at herself in the domain of helping other people, and whether that is what she is resonating with. Mm-hmm. On a sustained basis, and because the world is not, the synchronicity is not only going to give one sign, it's a sign to open one door, and then you enter that door, then there will be another set of synchronicity which will ask that person to open another door. Then a third, once she enters that door, a third set of synchronicities will happen, And that is what we have to follow. It's not that just one thing that comes is the answer for all.
Yes, very good. Well, I know a lot of people, and also some of my clients are very, very intuitive. And this lady also is speaking about her big intuition that he has. And because, intuition was so the gift that was actually we nowhere taught us about it. We didn't learn in school. It was actually rejected. And a lot of people that are mediums, or they are channeling, whatever they are channeling, like helping people with being a medium, they find very, very difficult to step on this dharma path. So you can imagine that someone is channeling, I'm just imagining some sort of beings that are not seen by anyone, or they are like singing a dolphin song and it's healing, but it's so strange how to put yourself out with that kind of strange, let's say, for this modern word, gifts. It's like, are they be accepted?
Correct. And that is part of the problem, because we are living in a very ego dominant society where the acceptance is based on other people's approval. And unfortunately, that is what we need to change. And we need to have what is called self acceptance. Dharma is a gift that is given to us. And sometimes when I look at some of my students who are such talented musicians, such talented singers, such talented dancers, the only thing I strongly, deeply, deeply believe is their obstacle is their self-doubt. It's nothing else. Because they are too long seeking for approval from other people rather than seeking the truth that defines them. Other people's words or behavior is not going to define us. But always give a simple example. This is a cup which holds tea now, but it's a cup. Now, just because somebody calls this a car, this is not going to become a car. Just because somebody calls it a stupid monkey, this is not going to become a stupid monkey. Just because somebody says, hey, you know what, you should not be a cup, you should become an engineer, this is not going to become an engineer. It's still going to remain a cup. That's what defines it. And it's the same with each one of us. We must have that self-belief to define ourselves rather than let other people define us, because just think about how difficult that's going to be. There's about 6.5, 7 billion people in the world. And if you allow every one of them to try and define you, each one will have their own expectation of what we must be, and that's going to be an impossible task to fulfill. So we must not seek approval from the others, and that is the big problem in modern society of this, what is called the tall poppy syndrome. I was taught by my dear English teacher, Sarah Ryan, this word because I don't have poppies in India, at least that I know of, at least in my mother's garden. So this concept that if somebody stands out, we chop them, so we make them homogeneous so that it's acceptable, that's really sad. And that is something that we must not subscribe to. We must actually subscribe to a deep sense of self-belief in the gift that we've been given, because Dharma is a gift.
Yes,
it's not a burden. It's not a burden, it's a gift.
Yes, I agree completely. Tall poppy syndrome, it's, guys, is really, you need to put this in our mind, in our heart, and really don't, as Ananda here said, acceptance based on other people's approval is the biggest self-problem today. Thank you, Ananda, for this a nice sentence and nice insight. It's exactly this. And this is why we are doing Dharma interviews, that we can a little bit open the subconscious for all these fantastic insights that you have.
And you better listen to Ananda, otherwise the gangster Ananda will come out.
Oh my gosh, really? Wow, this is so fantastic. Let's find out who is the gangster one. Huh?
Just go to YouTube and Google gangster Ananda, you will find a set of videos.
Yes. Valerie is also with us, and all the others. Hi, Valerie. Yes, I know you can find yourself also in these answers. So for all the rest that you are asking the questions, we will return back on these questions, because we are going to have first do the questions that were sent on email. Yeah. So the third question is about Moitza, and Moitza is now working in some financial insurance company, but she became a mother. So she has now a little child, and after giving birth, she's saying she's still in this feminine energy, and she can in her old job. But later on, she's referring a lot on how she has very, very difficult now relationship with her mother. So the mother and the mother's negative approach stressed her a lot. The mother is continually doing a lot of things against her. So she's criticizing her, accuses her. She does not respect boundaries of her. The mother is insulting, twisting the words, manipulating, acting as a child. And so it turned out that in the end, the lady that is asking that she stopped temporarily, of course, the relationship with the mother and the father, because they were not helping her with the child as should they help. And now she's more calm and focused. But in professional, in her profession, she's asking that she wants to make some sort of change, and she's drawing to direction to serve people as much as possible, but somehow where it's going, she's asking where the moment will come when she can do this, because now she has just vision and some plans, but with little child and with job, probably it's a little bit more difficult for her to do this.
Yeah, I understand. And I also want to thank Moitza for this fascinating description, because I'm so relieved to hear that this kind of problem between children and parents is not just an Indian problem, it's a universal problem. However, in this context, I am not so sure if this is a question of dharma or if it's a question of priority. So right now, her role in her life is that of a mother to a very new young child, and that is the most important priority now. It's like one season of her life, and that is what she has to experience in this season of her life, which is that she has to nourish the child, and of course her body will be changing a lot because there is hormonal changes and other things. And she has to basically honor that. And once a couple of years go by, when the child is about 2 or 3 years old, or maybe a little bit more older, maybe the time will come when she can step back and fulfill this role. Unless, of course, she has other support, which is there for her to, who will take care of the child, in which case she could probably step into that role a bit earlier. But from the description, it looks like she doesn't have that support from her family members or things like that. And that is why I say that just give it some time, because right now it's a season of life. See, another thing is with the dharma is not that you have to achieve a lot with your dharma. Sometimes it's enough if you just achieve one project, it's enough. It's not necessary that you have to do many projects. And that is sometimes our confusion. When I think about somebody who is as great as Patanjali, he basically only wrote 3 books. He didn't write 300 books. He only wrote 3 books in a lifetime of over 100 years. So it's not as if he has to achieve a lot in a hurry. The time will come. And sometimes it's people forget that pursuing a dharma is not like pursuing a career, which is a race. Pursuing a dharma is not a race. It's a very casual walk sometimes. So you have to walk, you have to go slowly, and suddenly maybe the things will change and it moves a bit more faster, or at least appears to move faster. So there's no predetermined time that by this time I have to be in this dharma, and then otherwise I am a failure. That's again something which is very, very wrong. It's if you approach a dharma in that way, that we have to be at the finish line of dharma, there's no finish line. There's only a start line. There's no finish line.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that is why we need to give it some time.
Yes, I think also because it sounds so not heavy, but so important. Life purpose. Life
Correct.
purpose. This is why I live on this earth. Yeah, I need to do it. I need to do it now. Maybe I'm going to be late. Maybe I will, I don't know, not be so much when I will be older in my prime time. I need to do this now. Who knows what will happen? So it's like it's very demanding, responsible word life purpose. It is, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why we must not be pressurized by that. We must let it evolve naturally. I've had this conversation with many mothers who are my students, and they've been students of mine before. They had children, and after they've had children, and sometimes I've heard them make very glorious statement that, oh, you know what, the child will make no difference to my life. I will pursue my life as it was before. And very often I've reminded them that no, it's not going to be the same. That's one of the doors. Synchronicity of the world is saying, hey, you're going to be a mother, you have to go into that door, and that door will open certain possibilities, but not what was behind. And many of them have laughed at me saying, no, it's not going to change, only to realize later that of course it's going to change.
Yes, very good point, I think. Yeah, actually being like a mother or a father, as you are also, it's
You have to read the comment, Katja. You have to read a comment. I'm not talking about one particular person in particular.
MG, come on, it's not about you. You didn't send the question.
I guarantee there's at least 10 people in my mind I can think about with whom I've had this conversation. At least 10 people.
Yes, but Maria Gabriel, very nice that you are here with us, and all the rest of the people. We are reading your comments, and we are all greeting you. We are both greeting you. Also, Senghecha, I don't know if I pronounce. I'm so sorry. A very important thing today is that Kausthub has pink glasses. Very good observation.
And why she's saying that is because these glasses come from Korea, where she's from. We went.
Oh my God! Oh, really? They're wonderful. Great. I should have some glasses like this also. And Deepika, hi, hello. So let's go to another question that Letitia put it. So I think it's a very interesting question. She's saying, if we are sick, is this always a sign that we are not fulfilling our purpose of life? So if the sickness comes, yeah.
I actually feel the opposite, but at the same time, it's not a very direct question, because sickness is something that is natural to life. We are not perfectly made. Just think about it, my friends. We are manufactured by our parents, so we can't be perfect. So sickness is very natural. Now, what I feel, there are two aspects to this question. What I feel, on the one hand, if we are not pursuing our dharma, what is natural to us, it's possible that we will get sick because of that. That could be one of the reasons of sickness. It's not the only reason. On the other hand, I also feel that sickness does not need to limit dharma. And I have many simple and great examples. For example, you talked about the chanting that we've been doing in the month of April. And in this time period, there's been like 4 days where I have been seriously sick and have been on antibiotics. But this does not prevent me from sharing the chant. And I have been in pain during these 4 days. But when I've been chanting, and I've been telling the group while during this chanting as well, that as when I've been chanting for that half an hour, I felt no pain, no suffering. And I see great examples. I'm just a simple example, but they're great examples of fantastic people like my grandfather, for example. He, in his late 90s, he fell and broke his hip, which limited his movement. It was after 93, 94 years of his age. And he refused surgery. And so his movement was limited, but it doesn't mean that his dharma stopped his thought till he was dying, the day before he died. And actually, even more fascinating, he produced his best work called the Yoga Valli, a commentary on Yoga Sutra, after this accident. So sickness should not be a limiting factor. When I look at great yogis like Ramana Maharishi, a very great South Indian yogi, he had cancer. And that did not stop him from his dharma. So the point is, on the one hand, yes, dharma, not pursuing our dharma could be a cause of illness. 2, I also would like to say, becoming obsessed with the dharma at the cost of our body, which is not actually dharma, that's an obsession that can also create sickness. And thirdly, we must not limit our sickness to limit our dharma. Maybe we need to give some time for healing, sure, but it does not mean it must inhibit us from our dharma. A very modern example I can also think about is the scientist Stephen Hawking, who has been so paralyzed for so much of his life, but he did not allow that to inhibit him from fulfilling his dharma.
Yes, good point. Yeah. So let's go on the 5th question. So Tina is asking, so she's saying that she felt that her path was very clear. She had the dream about the dream job, about the dream partner, about the dream family. Everything was, I'm going to achieve this. But nothing happened. So she was in a job that was not fulfilling her, and actually she was trying to do her best, and but in the end turned out that no one is listening her, and nothing is moving forward, and she was completely blocked, in vain, and she did try to change jobs, but without any success. And also in private life, she is still without a partner, she's saying, yet alone with the family that she was dreaming of. So she is saying a very, very, I think, very good point in her questions, that she does not want to just pass through life. She needs to, her heart is saying that she wants to do something. She wants to fulfill her dharma. I think this is really very good point, that inside her heart, she's feeling that she does not want just to live and then die. Yeah.
Perhaps she's looking in the wrong place, that the dharma is in the job or the dharma is in the family life. Maybe for her, it's somewhere else. It's not always that everybody has to find their dharma in their job. Job is something, dharma may be something else. For some people, they are lucky that the two merge.
Yeah.
And so she has to step back and keep her mind open and find other avenues, perhaps, that she has maybe to find the dharma in other possibilities and not limit itself by these possibilities that are actually defined by society. it's not refined by the person. It's a society's expectation that you have a good job, you have a good car, you have a good family, and things like that. It's a social expectation that we have accepted. So perhaps that attitude has to change, and maybe when that changes, the energy that she is putting out will change, and perhaps that will bring a partner, that will bring a job. Maybe, we don't know, but the energy has to change, because if we are searching for something in a particular form, that's really not a good way to approach our life dharma. Dharma is not in the form that always that we expect. So that's why I'm saying, if the way she's looking at this is changed, the energy that she's exhibiting or emanating in herself will change, and that will change a whole number of dynamics around her, of the people with which she is having connections or relationships with. I'm talking about all kinds of relationships like friendships, family, job, employer-employee relationship. Everything will change. And I think that is what is needed, rather than searching for it through a set of predefined expectations.
Yeah, very good point. Well, for all of you, they are still in that kind of position as this lady is. I am preparing on next Friday a free online workshop, which is called Art Heals Breakthrough into New You. So we are going to work in an art. You don't need to be art talent, or you don't need a lot of colors or something. You just need a paper, a pen, and some crayons. And I will guide you through creative process to put something down, to put your blockages down, and that the new you will emerge. So if you're interested, I will put a post later on down. It's completely free. It will be in English, and it's really very fun, but it's really also very, very transformating. So you can maybe a piece of you, you can find a piece of you through that process, and you can see how art actually heals. So Kausthub already said he will come.
Oh, did I?
Yes, you are welcome. Yeah, all of you. So let's go to the next question. Rani is saying that she actually found her dharma with the yoga pad. Yeah, so she completed the Vin Yoga teacher training, and then later on she actually had her own yoga studio. But not so many students are there, she's saying, and there are a few of them that they are loyal, but there are not so many students in this yoga studio. So problem is that she never fully relied on yoga for existential fears. I think that this was also one of the questions that was put there to the in the comments today. So she's getting closer to retirement, and the security idea is not getting any smaller. So she's actually in existential fears of not having enough money with just a few yoga students.
So I have two things to say. I think one thing Rani will like, one thing maybe Rani will not like. I take the risk. The first thing I want to say, which she will like, is I know Rani has more students than Patanjali himself.
Wow.
Patanjali had only 4 students, okay? Whereas I know Rani has many more students than 4. And the other thing which I want to say, which I think is not something that she may like, which is, I think, maybe in the long term she will embrace and like, and I think is part of the problem for most of us today. The answer is fear. If you are teaching with fear, that, oh, I will not earn enough money, oh, I will not be successful. That is the energy you are putting out. And people are not attracted to the energy of fear. If they are attracted, it's for very bad purposes. If you are putting out the energy of love, the opposite of fear, when you love your yoga, and that is what you don't think about whether you will survive or not. You don't think about that. You just do it out of love. I'm very sure that over the long period of time, things will be okay. I'm saying long period of time because there are years where you will go up, there are years where you will go down. Like in my case, for example, the corona has really affected me, that I've been hit so badly this year that it's so bad that I don't even know if I can survive if this continues another month or two. But I don't focus on that because there will be better years in the future. There have been better years in the past. There have been worse years in the past, and there's probably going to be worse years in the future. We don't know. We cannot control it. We cannot live with that fear. We have to live our dharma through love, and there is no other way. This is my experience, and this is my reality, and this is an advice I'm offering with a lot of love in my heart, and I hope it's not taken the wrong way. Yes, it's challenging in modern time. We are living in a money-dominant world, but if we keep our priorities clear, we actually can survive even this money-dominant world. But the energy we put out is so important. The energy we have to put out is the energy of love. I don't even say confidence because sometimes that could be egoistic. It's the energy of love. You have to function from your heart.
Yes, very good. I can feel with myself like this. I even don't know what it's going on, like intellectually in the process of healing the other person, helping facilitate the healing. Yeah, but it's really coming from a deeper space. And what I do is actually just open my heart, that it's somehow channeled through. I really don't know what will happen. So I really trust completely, and I'm doing like 100% from love. I can feel it inside me. So, but for sure there is a way. There is a way to go to that point, I think, and also for me, I know I still have a lot of things to do. But once when you do Shraddha, yeah, once when you really have faith and into divine, I think it can be a heart opening, not just maybe, I don't know, wallet opening.
Exactly. I mean, I have also been personally through very difficult times. Some years ago in 2012, 13, I went through a very challenging time where different crises came at the same moment. And there was one point of time where all I had was 187 rupees in my bank account. I remember very clearly the amount. That's about 2.5 euros. That's basically what I had. And from there I rebuilt myself. And there were not, and even that time I never thought about running away from my dharma, because at that time there were many people who were not even interested in studying with me or even being in contact with me. People acted as if I was an alien or that they never knew me or things like that.
Wow.
But that doesn't bother. That did not bother me at that time. And I remember one of the profound messages I got from one of my students, and she said to me, well, there are many people trying to destroy you. Please don't do that because I need you. And that was one word, one sentence that was enough for me. And so I think we must not always look at the economics of life as our measurement of our dharma. It's not something that we came with. It's not something that we will go with. It's not something that we came with. We did not come with money in our pocket, even though we may have been born to rich parents, or some people may be born to that. When we are born, when we are conceived and we are born, we come with our dharma, not with some money. So this is something we have to understand. So, and I really want to share this personal experience because many people think that it's their own only experience that they are going through this. It's not. It's not. I've been through the darkest of your times, and I know many others who have gone through this, but that should not stop you from your dharma. My grandfather was the same. When India became a republic, the Maharaja's palace was no more able to support him. At the age of 60, he became jobless and he had to search for a new job because he still had young children to feed and support. And life was so difficult. And when they came to Chennai, my grandmother lived in a single room apartment, and sometimes they had to have a sari as the divider from one room to the other. When my grandfather would teach, they would draw the sari so that my grandfather would teach on the other side and my grandmother would sit on this side. And when the class was over, the sari was moved away so that the room was a living room. People have faced this, but that's why that should not dissuade us from our dharma. Then nothing can dissuade us from our dharma. That's why we talk about such people even many years after they're gone. People who are there when things are convenient, you never talk about them later.
Mm-hmm. We have to embrace our hero quest and be responsible for it, I think. And sometimes this is very hard because we need to grow up in a way, huh?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Let's go to the next question. Kati from Belgium. She's saying that recently she worked as a volunteer in a special school in Kenya. And then she returned back to Belgium. Then she works in a restaurant and rent rooms. But she is really, her wish is to go back to Kenya, Kilifi, every winter and teach yoga there. But now somehow turns out that with all this coronavirus, she could not do it. And she's actually asking what to do with it, or so what is it her dharma to teach yoga in Kilifi, Kenya, or yeah?
I cannot answer this question because that answer must come from her heart. I cannot answer this question. But if it's really something that is deep in her heart, this coronavirus must not be an obstacle for her to fulfill this dharma. Maybe she just has to wait for this season, corona season, to end so that doors will open and she can pursue her dharma. That's why I keep telling you, also in the earlier answer to Moitza's question, we must look at these kind of obstacles in our life and things like that as bad seasons or out of season. I don't even want to call it bad season. It's like an out of season. You can't expect mangoes out of season. You just have to look at the tree. Mm-hmm. You can't get mangoes. So the same way, maybe this moment in somebody's life is an out of season time, and we just have to wait for the right season to manifest.
Mm-hmm. So actually, is it right? I'm just putting now my question. The dharma is some sort of it circulates. It's not like a fairy tale, like a lineage,
No.
Something. It's poor little girl, and then she is in trouble, and then she tries to find that prince, and the prince come, and then boom, it's not fairy tale. It's cyclical. Yeah.
I wish it was a fairy tale, but unfortunately, it's not.
Yes, so it's very good for us to embrace this cyclical living, not the linear living. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So another question comes from Norway, and the lady is married and with 2 grown-up kids. Currently, she's working as a consultant, but on her spare time, she has a few clients in Gestalt therapy. And she's feeling the split in herself. What is she supposed to do? The blockage, of course, as we find out, is mostly economical. But also a few years ago, she pushed herself over time and she ended up in burnout. But the last 3 years, she have changed the way she lives. So what will you recommend to the person that it's doing a little thing, that it's helping people, like Gestalt therapy that she's doing, and on the other side, she's actually doing her regular job?
Well, it's the same, like I said before, for the question of Rani, who also has a job and is teaching yoga because there is the fear that yoga may not help. My answer is very similar to that it's basically we need to find a balance of what is it that we can sustain. And in this way, when we say, okay, look, we need this particular kind of lifestyle for which we need this kind of a job, and we have to accept that, okay, for the moment, we can't thrive in our dharma the way we want. On the other hand, we could make the opposite choice where we can say, well, we want to thrive in our dharma, which means we need to reconsider the choices that we want in our life. We can't have both on a high, especially if the job and the dharma are not the same. We can't have both on a high because everything is about energy. You give a lot of energy to this will have less energy. If you give a lot of energy to this will have less energy. So it's a question of finding the right balance that is suitable for each individual, not something that anybody else can decide. And each individual must consider it based on what kind of support system that each one has. A similar person without family support, let's say, for example, somebody has a very good husband or wife who has also a job, who is contributing to the family, how they can make a decision may be different from somebody who is independent and who has no relationship and who has one child. It's like a single mother, for example. It's very hard. It's not the same kind of decision that these two people, even if their situation is similar, can make. That's why dharma is swadharma, individual dharma. It's not something that is common to people. And so that's what I would like to suggest, is to try and find that balance of where we need to kind of find the delicate point where we can balance the two if we need both to be different. It's tough. It's not easy.
It's not a fairy tale, yeah.
It's you are using the word fairy tale a lot today. I don't know what's happening.
No, I am studying fairy tales like for years now. You know what actually they did to our subconscious. It's completely terrible. So this is why I am reflecting. You know.
It's not always terrible. It depends on which kind of fairy tales we read.
Yes. Some of them are nice. So, Kausthub, one question for you. It's now already 1 hour. We need to close it.
Yes, we should close it.
We should close it. Yes. Thank you all the guys that were friends that you were with us. This is not our last interview, so you can still put some questions to the next interview, which will be my favorite topic. What is divine? What is Ishvara? Kausthub is going to talk about this, and I'm looking forward to it. We will post the date on my Facebook page, and there we can discuss also and answer of all your questions. Thank you very much for being with us today. Thank you, Kausthub, also to you. Just one last question before you chant for us at the end. Is your online course for Yoga Rahasya, which starts, I think, on Sunday, this Sunday, still open?
Of course, it's only starting on Sunday. We are only on Friday.
Okay. It starts on Sunday, and
yes.
People
if anybody wants to join, they can apply. Yes, of course.
Okay, we will post the link down. And if anyone is interested in my expressive art free online workshop, Art Hills, and want to experience a breakthrough into new you, please send me an email. I will also post a post on my Facebook page. So stay tuned with us for another interview with Kausthub about the divine. I think it will be very, very interesting. Thank you all that were again with us. Thank you, Kausthub, and please do chant with us for us another chant for goodbye.
Om Tachayyoravrimahe Gatai Yajñayam Gatai Yajñapataye Daive Swasthirastu Naha Swasthirmanushebyah Urdhvanjighatu bheshajam Shanno astu dvipade Shanchatushpade Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste, friends. Thank you so much for being here. And I want to apologize if we have not been able to answer all the questions, but of course, you can continue to text us and we will try to do our best.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you, Kausthub. Thank you all. Bye-bye.